Yeah? Hello. Hi, I'm Sean Custis. I'm Director of Sport at The Sun. I'd like to welcome you all along to our Cheltenham night, which is done in conjunction with our friends at the Tote, who apparently give you all the best prices, so they tell me. If you've ever been to this before, I'm sure you know what a great night it is. We have a fantastic panel for you this evening. Lots of tips for Cheltenham, lots of anecdotes. It'll be a great, great evening. Just before we introduce the panel, I'd just like to thank Nathan McPherson and his events team who've put this on tonight. Give them a round of applause. I hope also that you'll be following Cheltenham in the Sun with our pullouts every day, which are always brilliant, in-depth. Our online coverage, we'll be dropping various videos throughout the week, all that organised by our esteemed racing editor, Callum Jameson, in conjunction with Sam Morgan, who heads up our online operation, and our racing writer of the year, who is Jack Keane, who'll be producing you great features, great articles, great news. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our MC for the evening, Matt Chapman.
Thanks very much, Sean. Sean is the big boss, one of the greatest men I've ever met. Great to have him here tonight. So last year, Rich turned up, and he insists on a certain type of wine, and he hadn't had the best day at the office. And when his wine wasn't here, all fucking hell broke out, I can tell you. So I have now brought the wine in myself with the bucket, which has had, whoever's in charge of ice, every 15 minutes we need ice, okay? Otherwise, Rich is going to self-combust. Great to have you here tonight. I hope you have a tremendous evening. We were a little bit chaotic last year. I don't think it was my finest hour as a host. So we're trying to do it in a slightly different format tonight. We're going to bang through the whole of the Cheltenham Festival in the first half. So it's not going to be any of this going down the line one by one, everyone fancying the favourite at a short price, and you've just learned nothing. We're going to try and ask people what they like in each race if they have a strong opinion, and get through the races quite quickly. Then we're going to have a short break. Do not go. And if you stay for the second half, you'll understand why I've said that. And the second half, what we want you to do is get involved. Questions from you, stories from the panel, and hopefully, therefore, by the end of the evening, you'll feel, okay, we've had a few tips, but we've also had a bit of fun over the Cheltenham Festival, which, of course, is something that we all love. Just very briefly, you've got all your packs, your pens on your chairs, but the Tote business card with exclusive new Tote customers can bet £10, everyone. If you bet on the Tote, you can bet £10 and you'll get 50 quid in free bets. That's £20 more than the Tote's current offer. That's £20. Woo! Oh, yes. I've always wanted to host a quiz show, and I think the reaction to that means, so that's £20 more than the current offer. Right, that's more like it. Okay, let's deliver to you our panel tonight. I just should say, so on the posters, Nick Luck, he's not here. Fuck him, I say, if he doesn't want to turn up. He's currently doing a preview all over the Middle East, also in Australia, Hong Kong, and he was quadruple booked. So he hasn't turned up, but we have replaced him with a supreme commander of the sport. More of that in a moment. Right, let's get in the panel. First of all, 25-time Cheltenham Festival winning jockey, a Gold Cup hero, and a man who has made tea famous, Davy Russell. Davy Russell, ladies and gentlemen. Davy, great to have you here. Don't leave me hanging. That's a good boy. Davy Russell, what a treat it is. He's come just for us tonight. He flew in for us. He's flying out for us. A huge fucking fee, but he is coming. He is here. Right, okay, next up on the panel is a 4-time winning Cheltenham Festival trainer, which, let's face it, isn't great, but he has he has won 4, which is more than most, but he could win the Cheltenham Gold Cup this time around. It is Ben Pauling. After Ben Pauling, who has the jukebox man primed, is our Nick Luck replacement. When I said to this lady, could you do me a favour and replace Lucky, I could feel there was an immediate glint in her eye. She asked, who's on the panel? And I said, Russell. I said, Pauling, another guest who we're about to... And she said, wow, that sounds good. Then a message came through, who is hosting it? Okay, I said, well, actually, I'm really sorry, but it's me. And she said, well, okay, I need some time to think about this. I will get back to you by the end of the day. The phone, just nothing happened, nothing. And eventually a message came through saying, okay, I'll do it, but it's probably my better judgment says don't. Anyway, she is Miss, I think it's still Miss anyway, something like that. Miss Road to Cheltenham, Lydia Hislop. She is our Supreme Commander. Are you still Miss? I never quite know whether you're Mrs. Hislop or not. I never quite. Are you Miss?
I am married.
Are you?
I am.
Okay. Okay. But you just didn't want his name. Fuck him. Okay.
Correct.
Sorry if I've already sworn too much. Sean's gone. It's all right. Right. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, a man who lights up this occasion every year. Every time I ask him to come, I think this is the year he's going to say, no, Matt, I think we've done enough of it. And every year he comes back for more. He is the one, the only, the 23-time winning Cheltenham Festival owner. It's his missus, but we give it to him. It's Rich Ritchie. Thank you so much for coming again, Rich. Thank you so much. Please, a reminder about the Tote offer. They kindly sponsor this event. If a few of you could log in and just use your 10 quid and get your £50 in free bets, that would be a help. So we'll just get cracking on. First of all, before we get straight into the races, though, I just wanted to, Davey, 25 times Cheltenham Festival winning jockey. Even though you're not there, is it still something that sort of rocks you for most of the year?
Oh yeah, it's a very special few days, and I feel no pressure at Cheltenham. Where I feel the pressure is trying to find the horses to go to Cheltenham. Once you've the horses found, the pressure is off. So you're always trying to look out and trying to find them horses, and that's where I feel that it. And then once the satisfaction of getting them, and then getting them there and being competitive is very pleasing.
Yeah, Ben, for a trainer, is it the be all and end all?
Yeah, probably is. The whole season is structured around trying to get to Cheltenham or Aintree, but realistically, if you've got a horse good enough, you're going to go to Cheltenham. You're going to take your chance, and it's great that the National Hunt game is structured so that the championship races, I always feel, come towards the end of the season. I always think Royal Ascot's great, but like half the horses aren't even known by then. So Cheltenham is the place you want to be, and it certainly is if you live in the Cotswolds.
Lydia, you've been on the road to Cheltenham for just about, as far as I can work out, all your life. It's a long, it's not a Roman road, is it? It's a long and windy road, and you never seem to quite get there.
We go beyond it sometimes as well to Aintree and Punchestown.
Story of your life, Lydia.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you are nearly there now.
We are. I think we all are.
And are you ready?
No, never ever. You could always do that a little bit more, couldn't you?
We'll find out tonight. And Rich, the key thing with you is this. Willie Mullins will tell us that he has failed if he hasn't given you a Cheltenham Festival winner. Is that how you see it, that Willie Mullins will have failed if he doesn't at least have some horse that wins you at least one race next week?
I've never heard Willie Mullins say he failed at anything, even when he loses a race. I don't think he thinks that way. I think look, we've been together a very long time. And I think he knows what's important to me. I think he likes to have winners for us. I don't think he thinks he'll fail. He might be disappointed. But if one of his beats one of mine, he certainly won't feel that he's failed. But I think that it's a tremendous occasion. What I don't understand is, and I think Willie gets frustrated too, is we and I know we try to do it as an industry and as a community. We try to celebrate the wins on the way. But, you know, Lydia starts doing her bloody Road to Cheltenham show in October.
November. Point of
November,
order.
sorry. But, you know,
Not that keen.
up the ante, they do it, you know, whenever it is, from August or something. But I mean, and we don't celebrate enough along the way. But it is absolutely the championships for us, and we all want to have a winner there.
It's unbridled. You need to slug off during the course of the
Yeah, there you go.
And to be fair, racing, you wanted it in October, but the budget of racing TV isn't quite what it once was, is it, for you and Ruby these days. So it's now November. It'll be December next year. You should watch out.
Where's this budget of which you speak?
We're going to move on. Just finally, Rich, if you got to remember Gordon Elliott the other year got to the last race and finally drained
That
his
was
own.
last year. I felt horrible
Yeah.
for him, yeah.
For you, because you are competitive, you like winning.
Yeah.
That's why you're in it, best of the best. How miserable would you be on that final day if nothing has gone your way up to then?
Well, it's happened. I mean, we've been very fortunate. I think it's only happened once since 2011 or 12. In 2019, it does happen, and you are disappointed. There's a flat feeling when you leave there, because if you invest a lot in the game, I'm sure it feels for everybody, but if you invest a lot in the game, particularly if you've gotten beaten favorites, there's a flatness about it. But look, it's sport as well. Anything can happen, and you just have to be mature about it and move on to Aintree or something else and try to win there.
Or just put Lossy Mouth in the mares?
Ooh, it's started already. I got kicked
we'll
around.
get to it.
I got kicked around in financial markets today, and I thought I'd come here and get kicked around as well.
The one thing I've learned is you never go harder, Rich, until about sort of 30, 40 minutes and a bottle of wine in. Then things start to come out of the body of Rich Ritchie that you would never have imagined. Right, let's kick off with...
Oh dear, that's...
Well, obviously Lydia would have imagined it, but anyway.
What's happened
We've
already?
been started fast.
What's
haven't
happened
we?
already?
As I said last year, we
That's what we've got down the end there.
lost our way, so I'm going to rein you all back. We start off with the Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle on the first day. For punters, psychologically, I think this is just about the most important race of the meeting. I think it can really decide how you do for the rest of the day, because 98% of the people in this room, if they don't back the winner of the Supreme, are chasing straight away in the Arkle. That is just human nature, and it's the same for most people. So it's important. Right, who on our panel has a strong opinion on the Supreme? What a surprise. What a surprise. Well, shall we just go through the whole meeting with you, Lydia, first? Okay, you're in.
I like Talk the Talk. I was very impressed with the amount of ground that he was able to make up to win at the DRF, chasing down two horses that weren't stopping in Ballyfad and King Rasco Grey. I suppose the question mark about it is about whether his jumping will hold up. Was it the slower ground and the slower pace that enabled it? I prefer to think that he is improving as a jumper. This is going to be a very strongly run race. There's a lot of pace on, and I think it will suit that kind of ride that he dress rehearsed at the DRF.
Okay. Of course, El Caras is a horse, Davy, with loads of speed. One member, I mean, maybe more than one member of the El Caras team is stuck in Dubai at the moment. And I think he's very hopeful. This is Dave Rabson. I think he's very hopeful of coming back this weekend. But I genuinely believe it could affect whether Romeo Coolio runs even at Cheltenham at all if he actually didn't make it back from Dubai, because the whole point of running him there is for him to be there to watch him. But speed over stamina, what do you need in a Supreme? Do you need speed, Davey?
You need everything. If you're lucky enough to have a horse, first of all, capable of running in it, and second of all, a horse capable enough to win it, you need to tick a lot of boxes. Now, this isn't, you're not just going to win it one or the other, and it's a slight worry about El Caras. I'm not too worried about his inexperience. I think that has been done in the past, and not overly worried about it. Okay, it's a worry, but...
Or is it a worry or isn't it?
My worry with him is stamina. His finishing powers in bumpers weren't exactly, brilliant, and we haven't seen him tested to know if they're as good over hurdles. So that's my worry about El Caras. He's a classy horse, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was running in the champion hurdle next year or something to that effect. But it just may be a year too early for him to, and with the preparation he's got for it, it's not ideal. I think Nicky's horse is. I would always be happier riding a horse that will finish a race than a horse travelling into a race and dropping.
So rather have one that can do everything rather than one-dimensional. Like My Daddy Paddy, El Caras, they're going to be strangled somewhere in the mid-division towards the back to come with that late thrust. It makes them a bit one-dimensional. They get one fall in front of them, they're in trouble.
Yeah, your variables are changing very fast when you're riding a horse that way. But I think the likes of them simple horses that you can jump out and make the run in or be very handy, or you're at a huge advantage before you start.
It's not often you're on a panel like this and you have someone who's got a horse who might just win this at a massive price. But Rich, you've got a horse called Loretz Destraval in here, who would be about, I imagine, 33 to 1 at the moment to win this race.
I think he's 50s or 80s. Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's not a bad horse, is he, though?
No, he's a very good horse. He got a very high rating from Andy Holding on the speed figures, I think of 72, which is right up there with the best of them. I don't know what his trip is. He's entered in all 3 races, where he worked very, very well today. Wherever he runs, I think he'll run a big, big race. And when I'm sure we'll confirm him for all 3 races on throughout the week.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But I think, I think.
Would this be the least likely for him, do you think?
I think, I don't know if it's the least likely, but I think probably the
second least likely.
Yeah, probably. Most likely would probably be the Turners, but I don't know. I really don't know. But he's a fine horse. But I think the horse Mighty Park that JP owns is, I know that they think the world of him in the Mullins camp. The next Faheen, which was said. And I had a chance to buy him. They called me first, but I was at the opera and my phone was turned off. So don't do any of this highbrow nonsense. So I was at the opera, and I didn't get the call, so JP bought it, unfortunately. But anyway.
How long do they hold that?
Oh, these days. I was talking to Davey and Ben about it earlier. It happens so quickly. I mean, these horses are, it's changed. You've got to be ready to go, wall it out, hit the bid or not. I mean, that is what it is these days, because there's lots of people swarming around. But anyway, wherever he runs, it'll be a good thing. But Nicky's horse is very good. If Mighty Park runs here, he could run the Turners. I mean, it's so crazy. But it's a good Supreme, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is a strong Supreme.
Was it Madame Butterfly, La Bohème there? The sort of tragic operas on it. Sounds like a tragic night. Like
what?
The opera.
Oh, the opera.
La Bohème.
No, it was.
Were you really at the opera?
Matt's just exhausted with 2 operas.
I was a Glein board, and it was Wagner. So if anybody likes Wagner, it was about 3 hours long, and they don't stop singing. Anyway,
Wagner is suicide stuff.
Ben. Yeah, I think Old Park Stars probably bulletproof as far as they go. Talk the talk. He was impressive to come from where he did. Mighty Park, everyone knows about. El Kairos looks like a hold-up horse with a load of speed, but whether he'll get up the hill, I don't know. My Daddy Paddy, I think he's probably had his chance at a big one and failed already. I think Idaho's Son, he's trained by Harry Fry, he's a very capable trainer at a bigger price. Sober Glory, the ground won't be good enough. And then we're King Rasco Grey and the rest. So I'd probably Idaho's Son each way.
No, I couldn't have him.
It's
just not good enough.
Can we talk a bit about Mighty Park?
Not good enough, I said each way.
Okay.
Because this is all this, isn't it? Kind of like he's had one run. He was at Mighty Park.
Yeah.
He was ushered into the lead, granted 3 lengths at the start. Then he cut out a good pace, but he's never been tested at a hurdle. No one's ever found out whether he can actually jump up sides under pressure at all. And comparisons to Faheen, and suddenly he's second favourite for the Supreme.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, there's not been much talk about many Willie Mullins novices who are turning up at Cheltenham next week, and this one is being flagged up, isn't it?
Yeah.
For whatever reason. It's very odd for a McManus horse to be flagged up by anyone anywhere.
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
Honest. It's like, until Cobden comes along and tells us all what's going on, it's like, it's all a mystery.
He's going to the dark side. That won't happen anymore.
I don't think he will. I think he'll be a good boy. He'll remember his friends. Right, we're going to move on to the Arkle. Having said we're not going to spend hours going over each race, and we've just spent hours on the Supreme. I think Old Park Star's just got everything. Speed, stamina. And I like the fact they didn't really think he was that great to start with. And those kind of horses tend to be quite good ones rather than the flashy ones at home. Arkle, who's got a strong view on the Arkle?
Oh, God, I'm going to have to put my hand up again.
You're going to do this as a theme, aren't you?
I'm not. I'm going to stop now.
And then your team at Racing did well done, Lydia. You took over there. Okay, who do you fancy?
Yeah, they study everything you do.
Well, they
They
study
model
you.
themselves entirely on you.
Right, who do you fancy?
I think I see that he's gone Sea of Blue favourite today, but I think that Kopek de Board will win.
Okay.
I think he can win off the basis of one previous run over fences. Western Warhorse has done it. Well, Chief has done it. I think we saw from the Supreme last year, he's the only horse in this lineup I think that could win a champion hurdle. I know that Ruby Walsh has made that point. I think it's true. I think Lulamba's a very good horse. I think Romeo Coolio is a very good horse, but I think they're going to excel over distances that are further than this. And I think that they could both get caught out in the early part of the race. So that 4 quick fences, the pairs of 2, they could get quite a way behind. Now, you've sworn already this evening, haven't you? So I can say Kopek de Board is a shit or bust bet. He wins or he doesn't win, whereas Lulamba might well pick up the pieces and finish second or win. So it depends on your kind of temperament there. But unfortunately, neither of them are that kind of play in terms of each way prices. So it's Kopek de Board for me. I strongly think that Lulamba will be on the back foot early on and in trouble. And I don't think he'll have the real estate to pick up the ground like he did at Newbury last time.
Okay. Rather oddly, I think the whole audience prefers it when you swear rather than me. It just feels better.
There's a frisson.
Yeah, there's a determination.
I can tell you they are getting jiggy in Close Sutton over Kopek de Board, to steal your phrase about getting jiggy. I think that, look, he's a talented horse. Lulamba that was a funny old run, wasn't it? And I think you're right about the real estate. He might find it hard to try and find that ground.
He might have learned quite a lot.
He might have though as well. What's Romeo Coolio going to do? I need to take your point about where the owner is, but
He could still, I did speak to him about that. He said the Ryanair is not yet out of the equation.
Is it definitely going to Cheltenham? Definitely.
He will 100% go to Cheltenham.
Right, okay.
It's the only thing that matters to the owners. They could not care about any other race other than winning a race at Cheltenham.
Who cares about any other race? Only winning at Cheltenham.
Well, Ben does because he's won the King George and not much else. So.
I won't even bite. It's fine.
The King George is a good one. If you're going to win one, you win the King George.
Don't just shut up.
does Carghese have a chance? On the Arkle?
I think she's going to run really well, but I think she's going to be swamped at the end. I mean, I just think
She's weak in a finish, isn't she?
Yeah, I just think that if Kopek de Board or Lulamba's on the premises, they've got past her.
Who would you ride, Davey? Sorry, Ben.
No, you talk to Davey.
Yeah, Davey, who would you ride?
I'd just go back on previous Arkles. You have the likes of Kicking King, War of Attrition, Sizing John.
Correct.
Yeah.
Django Boy. Gaelic Warrior, all ended up in stairs, all either won or ran close to winning an Arkle, and for me, that to me leads into Romeo Coolio. I think he's got an awful habit of winning races, and he just likes winning. I think Cheltenham will suit him. I think the strong pace from start to finish that he can slot in behind him, and in my opinion, he idled in Leopardstown the last day when he got to the front. He finds it hard to get there, but he gets there. He gets there every time. He's a 3-time Grade 1 winner. Yeah. He's a very, very talented horse. I can't see it. I agree with Lydia. Probably the best horse in the race is Kopek de Board, but my only problem with that is exactly as she said herself, is the first 2 fences, bang, bang, and then the third and fourth, bang, bang. You could be turning out, and it's a downhill run, and we all know that he's quite in your hands, but he done extraordinary things over hurdles, that horse, that he can run so keen and still finish his race. But this is a hell of a good Arkle. This is as good an Arkle as we have seen in a number of years. In a number of years. Like there's 5 horses that, you know, and now they're talking about Irish Panther going to the Queen Mother. He thinks it's going to be an easier route.
Yeah, but he can't win either, so it doesn't really matter.
No, he can't. And then you can see the likes of Steel Alley.
Yeah. He was a good horse.
He was a good horse who could actually, if he was ridden cold, or, you know, something like, I don't think they're going to finish first, second,
one
third,
of your
and
Charles
fourth.
Burns jobs.
No, Nicky Anderson jobs.
He stays on them though.
No, but I don't think they're going to finish first, second, third, or fourth. As Lydia said, you could see Kopek de Board falling out the back of the screen. But Steel Alley, the likes of Steel Alley at a big price. I do feel that there's some very good horses there. that if they're ridden cold, that they could just pick up the pieces. I would imagine you're going to get the first 3 home here. There's going to be enough runners, isn't there?
I think so.
Yeah.
But they'd have to take the view that CLI can't win, won't they?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he can't be ridden to win either.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
what you probably want to be on a horse, other than Alhambra and Romeo Kulu, who are going to finish off strongly. If you think they're going to try and get involved, if you're trying to pick up sort of big prices, it's going to be a horse that's ridden cold, as David's saying.
It is a good race. Ben, you were shaking your head in disdain as
You were.
talking then.
No, Dave's intro, basically, I thought he was going to say Lalamba, and he said Romeo Coolio. I was disappointed. But
it's Romeo Kula and Lulamba for me are the two horses in the race.
So to me, Lalamba is a horse that obviously is going to be competitive in a King George in a year's time or whatever. And the only thing we've got going against this horse is the fact that he could be a bit cold. Now, I re-watched, for some unknown reason, I don't know why, but I re-watched the Game Spirit. And people made a little bit of a thing about the fact that he made mistakes. He didn't make mistakes. He was just a novice in graded company against mature horses.
He lost
on
ground,
he
didn't he?
blinking hated,
Right.
quite
but
clearly.
you must take it's a bit of a trait with the Henderson horses. So you have
But you look at so
Altier done the same. So did Shishkin.
So when I was fortunate enough to be Nicky's assistant, we had Sprinter Sacre going to an Arkle, and I told every single one of my mates, this horse will not get beat. And people made countless reasons as to why he'd get beat, and I was like, I just feel they've got the same confidence in the Lamba that they've got in, and they're not just born yesterday. They know what a good horse is, and I don't think Kopek de Board is anything but a brilliant horse. Don't get me wrong. But I just think the Lamba's got a bit more experience. If Nico can be a little bit more positive and a little bit more aggressive in the early part of the race to keep him in it, I don't see a horse coming up the hill stronger.
Well, he's definitely a finisher for sure.
Yeah, I'd be a Lalamba man. I think Nico's a very easy target. People whatever he does, they like to try and mock him after the race is on fire.
They deserve a bit of luck as well. The Donnellys have had a tough season, so that would be great.
Yeah, I think Lalamba's the one, although we did put up Romeo Kula on the At the Races preview of the season at 20-1, so there is a bit of me hoping that Romeo does turn up.
I think I can finish third with something as well.
Yeah. Right, we're going to go on to the Champion Hurdle.
Sorry, I'm going to go to the loo.
Somebody lock that door over there, will you? Lock the doors, one mouse. We're going getting an answer tonight. Judge Reed, turn off all the cameras, all the phones, turn them all off. We're going getting an answer tonight. Or we're going handcuffing them in the 17th floor. This is the Nakatami building, isn't it? What you call him? What was his name? What was your man's name in Die Hard?
What?
This is the Nakakami building.
I've not a clue.
Die Hard.
Yeah, Diet, yeah.
You're too old, Davey. No one remembers Die Hard.
No, I remember I had, but I just can't
there
think
you
of
go.
the Thanks.
John McLean,
John
is
McLean,
it?
yeah.
John McLean.
Well done.
You're going nowhere, Richie. You are going nowhere.
People are just going to tweet something anyway and hope for a few clicks. Right, okay, let's get to the Champion Hurdle. The whole race revolves around one horse, and it is owned by our friend Rich Ritchie. No, it doesn't. New Lion, of course, favourite. We do want Lossie Mouth in this race, though, Rich. I think as fans, just show a put your hand up if you want Lossie Mouth in this race.
Sorry, Rich.
Right, well, Rich, as you know, you're a man who likes to play to the audience, so...
Says the pot over there.
Here we go.
I don't know whether you can give us an answer now, or whether we should wait for another glass of vino before we come to this race. But would you like to see Lossie Mouth in the Champion Hurdle?
So let's just go back. For those of you who were here last year, I was very definitive in telling you that about the fact that she had fallen she had beat a Kempton, she had fallen against State Man, and that I wasn't comfortable. And Paul said she'd given him no reason to get off Lossie Mouth to run her in the Mares race. The Mares is a grade 1, and we can debate whether we won a championship Mares race or not. I think we should have one. Anyway, this year, I am much more ambivalent. I honestly, last year I had a prior, and I came in, or a bias, as you would say over here, and I wanted her to run in the Mares race. I really don't care. It's a wide open champion hurdle. My concern is I'm not sure 2 miles is her best trip. You know, she's undefeated over 2.5. She is 3 for 6 since her Triumph Hurdle days or juvenile days over 2 miles. I have to balance that with the fact that she's only ever run over 2 miles on the new course at Cheltenham, which is a much bigger test. And, you know, the new course might suit Woodoo. I mean, I don't know, but what you need to understand is everything that comes into the mix. So Paul Townend will have a view. He'll want to win where the American win. Willie Mullins will make the final decision with input from me about how she's working. I don't see that every day. Last year, it was me that made the decision, but I'm ambivalent. I really, honestly, I know that people think she's going to run in the mares. I really don't have a view. I would tell you, she worked very well last week. If anybody saw Woody's comments in the Sporting Life this week, he talked about the fact that he'd want to see that again.
Family.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, so she clearly she's had back problems her whole career, and something was clearly bothering that back. But one thing I like about her is even though she was hanging, she ran through the line.
Oh, she definitely is. She turns up all the time.
She tries.
Head,
she turns up.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'd tell you is, at Kempton last year and at the DRF, Paul said the same thing afterwards to me, after he got the horse. Knew after the first hurdle I was beat. So we've tried to take care of her back. She worked very well last week. Let's see.
Did she work this morning?
I don't. Yeah, she would have worked this morning, but I think her big work probably Thursday. But I don't know how it went today. But I do know how Laura's work went. That went very well. But I think look, she's a wonderful, wonderful mare. It's a wide open champion hurdle. I get that. Her trip's 2.5. Aintree's tailor-made for her.
Can I just challenge you on the trip? You'll remember that Annie Power would never have won a champion hurdle if Fahine hadn't got an injury. She only ran in the champion hurdle because Fahine was injured.
I disagree. She would have won the champion hurdle if Willie hadn't run her in the world hurdle the year that Rock on Ruby won.
I mean, you're slightly playing with words, but yes. Okay. But outside of one run at Doncaster when she was 1 to 6 and effectively couldn't lose, as an older horse outside of novice company, how many times did Annie Power run over 2 miles if you're worried about the trip for Lossiemouth? The answer, of course, is 0.
Yeah, but
she ran over 3 miles, Annie Power.
I know.
So I think it's so similar. The two horses are so similar.
But isn't it more that they've tried 2 miles and they found something and they think that she's at full revs over 2 miles? I mean, David was just talking about the difference between the old and the new course. I mean, it's an ever turning course. It's relatively pretty sharp compared to the
where
new.
She, to everyone's mind, is a £10 better horse.
She comes alive. And by the way, Woodoo is a very good horse over that trip.
But she's not going to be Lossie.
She might.
I don't know. No. I think she might.
No.
I wouldn't say she's a dead cert for the mares, but anyway, look, I'm sorry I can't give you the definitive answer tonight.
Who mentioned cheek pieces?
It wasn't just cheek pieces, it might be other headgear, but we were talking about, no, it's just generally talking about headgear. I don't want to talk about...
Did Cliff Sutton mention it? Or
it's not me.
Right.
So.
Right, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Final question, Rich. If you had a choice of winning one or the other, which one would you prefer to win? You said you don't care, but you must care.
No, I don't care where she runs, I said. That's different. If I was to win one of those races, of course I want to win a champion hurdle.
Okay. Anyone got a strong opinion in who might win the champion hurdle, which is effectively a wide open heat for most people, although you could argue the New Lion is easily the form horse in my book, but
Well, I think the best horse of the race and what we know about it, bearing in mind the mare's allowance, is Brighter Days Ahead.
No.
Not at Cheltenham, though.
No, best horse in the race is Golden Ace.
Thank you. We're talking the same language.
And I'd say she's a bet to know. What price is Golden Ace?
She's an each way
About
bet.
7,
She's an
8 to
each way
1.
bet.
How's she not?
Yeah. She is probably the best. I would say she is the best horse in the race. She's proven it over and over and over, and she's got good form. She's beaten Brighter Days Ahead. She's won a champion hurdle. Take out the 2-runner race where she was completely flop. Her form was not bad. She's a good filly. There's question marks over everything else. I'm getting closer to the fact that
She's rated 152. Like, she's not.
Yeah, but
But this is not a good champion hurdle.
What are the rest of them?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, when we're saying she's a good filly, she for a champion hurdle winner, she is not a good filly. For all that we love her and we all love Jeremy Scott, we all love the story. It's nothing against her. But
I'm
if
not
she
mad
won
about
2
Jeremy
champion
Scott now,
hurdles,
just to let you know.
What?
I'm not mad about Jeremy Scott. It's nothing to do with Jeremy Scott or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, remember he Dasher Drasher and all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not. This is not a Jeremy Scott thing. I just think she is the best mare in the race.
So I saw the owner after they won last year.
Ian Guston.
And he thanked me because he said, I was going to run where you weren't.
Yeah.
And he took the risk and he won. It was brilliant.
Yeah, he'd want to be declaring fairly late to find out where you're not going to run, because there's about 30 seconds to go. Willie Mullins is here sitting on the yoke. Just bring him out now till the very last second.
One, and he's the most competitive trugger you'll meet in England. And I do honestly think he did that for a reason. I think this horse did very well to win that. So that's him. Talk the Talk, I think, will go here, and if he doesn't go to the Supreme, then...
No, he is going to the Supreme.
Definitely.
Oh, Joseph wants to run him in.
Fine. King Rasco, Grey, Ballyfat. Active Innocence is a good horse, one as he liked in the Sydney Banks. Then where are we? Bossman, Jack, Cryptic, Jim, My Horse, Taurus Bay. They're good horses, but they're probably going to struggle to win it.
Well, Taurus Bay actually has a very good piece of horse because he beat Captain Hugo, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's a very... Taurus Bay will be lining up, well, I don't know what he'll line up in next year. He'd love to find a 2.5, but I think he's exceptional. But he did a piece of work this morning that told me he will run.
What's that?
I haven't had a build up to the race which makes me ooze confidence.
Okay.
So
He's going to run slowly.
No, I wouldn't run him unless I thought he could be competitive, but I think he'll struggle to win it.
Okay, any other strong opinion on that before we go on to the Brown Advisory? No. Right, Brown Advisory, Novice Chasers, Final Demand and Co. Again, who has a really, really firm opinion on this? 1.01 has come in. Lydia.
I think the Big Westerner will win it.
Really? Hasn't he promised much before?
It was good to soft ground in the Albert Bartlett last year, and she ran really, really well. How not soft we're thinking it's going to be. It's been raining for 4 years. Yeah, the water table's going to be really high. A little bit of rain during the course of the week is only going to tip it over slightly. You know, I just don't think that the ground is. I don't think she needs soft or heavy. I think she needs a trip. I think she'll be fine on good to soft. It might be that she's her absolute best on soft, but she ran really well in the Albert Bartlett last year, and it was good to soft.
Okay.
I'm going to run a horse called Joystick, who I was hoping
Was going to
would get into National Hunt Chase.
Yeah, absolutely.
And unfortunately, he got a mark of 147, so he's not eligible for that race, so he'll have a spin and poodle around there. He's big, he's slow, he jumps well.
Anything else? Davey, anything solid?
Gordon's horse is rock solid. He won a Galway
Western
Plate.
Fold?
Yeah, he's won a Galway Plate off top weight. We've seen horses win a Galway Plate in the past and go on to finish second or third in the Gold Cup. It's a fair indication of a horse's ability. He's rock solid to me. Look, he may not be top class, but I still think in this race over 3 miles on a little bit better ground, I think is right up his alley.
Okay, and I like the look of Salva. It would help if it rained, but he's very rarely got the soft ground over 3 miles that he wants. He got it at Windsor last time, and his performance with Weighed Out puts him very close with Wendigo, but he's a much bigger price than Wendigo, and he's the best in Gary Moore's yard. So if the rain came, it would very much help, but I think he's massively overpriced, Salva. Queen Mother Champion Chase.
So no one thinks Final Demand.
Who?
Yeah, well, he...
Like, he's the favourite. No one has mentioned him.
But
Well, I don't fancy him, but why not?
Because he came to Cheltenham last year, he was travelling well into the straight, and then he folded within strides. And then the moment that Cade Dorothy put it up to him in the DRF, he folded.
These previews are about telling everyone what to be aware of as much.
Yeah, absolutely, agreed. No, I know you're feeding the question, and so I'm giving the answer.
Yeah, I'm delighted, but like Matt, sharp Matt.
took that dig about the 4 Cheltenham Festival winners very personally, I'm afraid.
I really like the fact that he got one back. This is going to be fun for the rest of the 2-1.
Right, we're going to move on.
Equalised, Ben, equalised.
I've still got enough time for you all. Right, Queen Mother Champion Chase. As most of you know, Marine Nationale is out, the defending champion. It means Masborough could well go off odds on now for the Queen Mother Champion Chase. David, can I just ask you a question on this? Do you, if as a jockey, would you believe in Masborough because of what he did last time, or would how he jumped before that always be in the back of your mind?
No, not until he makes a mistake, but you just go on as you left off. The only problem I have with Masborough is when he makes one mistake, he tends to make another and another. Yeah. I just think he needed some bit of help. I said it on publicly that there was something amiss with him, and I've never seen cheapies to have that effect on a horse. I just haven't. I just don't know what. I couldn't believe what he'd done in Leopardstown, from where he was to where he went, and if he continues in that vein of form, he is unstoppable. There's no doubt about it, he's unstoppable. He's better than all the horses in the race, I feel, you must, if he starts reverting back to his old tricks, people say, he can make a mistake and he's still win. He can't. Not in the Queen Mother, I don't care. He made mistakes last year and he couldn't win.
I think if it's not Marlborough, I actually think the cards are falling in Dan Skelton's favour in a few races. No Constitution Hill helps. But Loda Sud had the perfect round in the Arkle last year. He led over the last. Marlborough made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. He actually still beat him.
Yep.
He still got home in front of Loda Sud. So I think Marlborough, I'm not a fan because I don't think he'll jump around this track properly. I really don't. But I think his engine is so big he could still win it.
Okay. Can I just ask anyone, talk about Irish Panther possibly running this.
Yeah.
I know Romeo Coolio is in the Ryanair, but would it be easier for Romeo Coolio in this than the Arkle?
In this?
Yeah. If
Possibly would be, wouldn't it?
do you know what I'm saying? Like there are.
You don't think it would be?
No.
No, just because it's.
I tell you, the reason with Romeo Coolio is what's wrong with getting beaten? I don't see the problem once you're in a race and you're fairly run. If you get beat, fine. I can't understand. Why would you run, if you're not going to run him in the Arkle, why would you run him in the Queen Mother?
Well, you might think you got an easier race.
But how would he get an easier race?
Because Lulamba, Kopek de Board might be better than the horses in this race.
Yeah, but put Masborough in the Arkle now, on this season, how far does he beat them?
I don't know. They might be better than him.
I can see both sides,
No, but
don't rush a novice, is what Davey's saying.
Like, I know, it just, for me, you keep your own to your own. There's no point in stepping into senior company. What you would do is you would help him to digress if you stepped him up to open company now.
Okay.
That wouldn't be, for me, the progress would be running in the Arkle. If he gets beaten, fine. But it's next year to go for a Gold Cup. Like, people have done in the past and horses have done it. And there's a horse doing it this year in Django Bai. He won the Arkle last year, now he's running the Gold Cup.
Okay.
So there's an angle here, isn't there, with all these horses falling away, for a horse that's going to pick up the pieces and hit the frame.
Which often happens in this race.
Yeah. The horse that was going to do it last year was Liberty Hunter. Now, obviously, he has a little issue with the fences, doesn't he? He's a massive price at the moment. He could easily hit the frame. He would have hit the frame last year if he hadn't have come down and 3 out in the Champion Chase.
Champion Chase, no, she's right.
And he's also in the Grand Annual, and I couldn't quite interpret how he was being ridden in the Game Spirit. Was he being ridden to get his confidence and get round, or was he ridden with the Grand Annual in mind? I wasn't sure. I feel like if this race cuts up, Evan Williams will be more likely to tend towards this than he would be to carry a lot of weight in the Grand Annual, and he could pick up the pieces. I'm also looking at Only by Night, who I think is a 2-miler. I know she's in the Mrs. Paddy Power. She hit the front and then I think threw the race away, the way that the race panned out in the Arkle last year. And if she was ridden slightly differently, I could see her hitting the frame. This is a thought I'm having live, by the way. Not one that I've thought through. So those two, I think there's going to be an angle in this race because you've got Lodesford, who just isn't as just isn't as good as Majborough. Iolete Tom, who's got a Cheltenham problem. He might get round in third, but second maybe he will. Quilixos we haven't seen for the year. He was clear second best in the Queen Mother Champion Chase last year, so maybe. John Bond's not going to run. Thistlass is going to go out right. Sonnis is going to go out right. Irish Panther's going to be burned off, is he?
No, it does not run.
So, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be something that's a very big price, and particularly if Majborough does go odds on, they're going to have a betting without market as well. So there's
angles in.
This race is interesting if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's plenty of angles in. I also think we see why we made a big mistake going for Nick Luck first. Clearly we have upgraded. Okay, let's just quickly go down the panel. Just the name of the horse. The Richie winner of the Green Mother Champion Chase is?
I would take Marlborough on because his enemy is the twigs, not the other horses. I'm with Ben.
Okay, Lydia?
I've tipped Majborough, backed Majborough at 6-1 when he drifted. I think he's the likeliest win in the race. I will be looking at something that I've just outlined there.
Yeah.
That will be what I'm looking at.
Okay, Ben Pauling.
I'm going to say Majborough, and I hate the way he jumps.
Yeah.
Same as Ben.
Yeah, and I'm Majborough as well. Right, let's get straight to the bumper, where a certain Richie has a horse called Love Seen du Nu. Rich, are you going to win the bumper? How hopeful?
That would be Love Signed de Nu.
Yeah.
Although I liked your French interpretation. Love Seen de Nu. Very interesting. So
He's even wearing your colours. Look, he's
I
a
know
fan.
it's great. He's got a hood. He's got a
tough
onesie
team to
as
be
well.
in, this one.
So I'll tell you, the bumper is look. I've won the bumper once with the Champagne Fever. It's a very difficult race to win. The horses won a point to point, and he won his bumper, albeit he won it well. Before the race, Willie Mullins sent me a text saying, "Now," he said, "this fella hasn't caught my eye, in the work." And I said, "Ugh." So I wasn't. He was like 4-9. I wasn't expecting much. And then, as he was pulling farther away during the race, he sent me another text saying, "He's catching my eye now." He is a look. He's a horse for next year. He's a high cruising speed. That was a hell of a performance. It was a good bumper. Look, he's got a favourite's chance, but it's the bumper. Anything can happen. I've had horses come over as well. When I heard Patrick mention when they were talking about you're going to ride Love Signed de Nu, and what do you think? He's I've ridden Day of a Lifetime. I've ridden some other thing that I owned that Cheltenham blew the top off their heads. So we hope that doesn't happen, but he's got a favourite's chance.
Okay. Anyone else spotted a bumper horse that takes their eye? I mean, you only have to see the number of times Patrick Mullins wins this race to know that Willie Mullins doesn't know really which one of his is ever the best, does he?
But Patrick may end up having to ride the horse because he can't do the weight on any of the other ones. So just keep that in mind as you're punting. Can't do the weight on our trigger.
No one knows who's going to win the bumper because Cheltenham is so different to every other
It
track
is,
they've
100%.
run on.
Yeah.
So you can have a good horse at home, works really well, gets to the top of the hill, you think you're in a great chance. By the time you're at the bottom of the hill, not only have you lost 10 lengths, but you've got nothing to come up the hill.
Well,
it's impossible.
Yeah, this horse doesn't work very well, but he does it on the track.
So it might be okay.
Yeah.
David, you are a wheeler dealer, though. You know all the ins and outs of how to make a few quid. Are there any of these that were on your radar ever?
Not particularly. I just like Queeran, the Scottish horse. I like the Mourne Rambler, and I like the top horse of Chris Gordon's Bass Hunter.
Okay. I think he's a bit nutty, Bass Hunter, though, isn't he? He's a bit. I'm not
The
sure
horse or
nutty
Chris?
horse. Chris Gordon's Bass Hunter. One to ask us.
That's why he loves him so much.
He is a bit nutty. What was that?
The horse or Chris, I was asking.
Yeah.
I was seeking clarification.
He's a bit. I don't know whether you can tear off in front and win this and hope to stay there. Can you? Something's going to pick you up.
You would think so.
But never mind. He might be a bit more controlled. Right. Let's go on to. We've made it to Thursday. Let me just make sure I start with the right race here. We're going to start with the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle, and of course,
Awkward.
that means we get back to Rich. Except you've already run, haven't you, Rich?
Well, it's a great race. It's a much better race, and I know that some people are quibbling about making it a Grade 2 or making it a cap. Either we have a championship race for mares or not. I don't mind moving it to another date, but there should be a championship race for mares, 100%, because we want to keep mares in the game.
Definitely.
If we run or don't run, who knows? But it's a good race. It's a very competitive race this year. And I think Woodhoo is going to be hard to beat, whether Lossiemouth runs in the champion hurdle or there.
But she would have no headgear. Headgear's not going on willy-nilly, is it? No headgear in this.
We haven't decided on headgear. We are considering options.
Cheek pieces in the champion hurdle or no headgear here. That's clearly what's going on.
Yeah.
She's never won over 2.5 miles on that track.
Yeah, but she doesn't lack stamina though, does she?
No, she's a 2.5 miler. Aintree's tailor-made for her. She'll run at Cheltenham, but the Aintree's tailor-made for her, yeah.
If Lossie goes to the champion, then Jade de Grugy comes in here.
Yeah. I mean, just final thing on that. I just want one more question. It does sound like, if you're saying genuinely that you think the Aintree hurdle's her ultimate goal, you think she's a 2.5 miler, it seems, even if you want, like everyone else, to win the champion hurdle, it seems very silly to run her in the champion hurdle.
But you know, she obviously can run over 2 miles. She's won over 2 miles at Cheltenham. So, look, it's a different race course. She is a bit of an in-betweener, and I just want her to win and be healthy and do all right. And last year, I was very clear. I wanted to run the mare's hurdle. This year, I am ambivalent. And if Willie thinks this is her best chance to win, and that could be the champion hurdle, then that's fine. I'm relaxed.
Okay, that's what I think.
Okay. Lydia, for most people, if Lossiemouth and Woodhoo both run in this, one or t'other or one will win it, because they are, on paper, just the better horses. Which one of those two would you go with?
Lossiemouth, but I would expect them to be quite a long way apart in the market. Because I'd expect Lossiemouth to be expected to win, and if they were close together in the market, it would make me. Johnny Deneen made this point the other day. It would make me feel nervous. It was interesting because I like these sort of panel shows because you hear somebody say something and you think, yeah, that is absolutely right. So his hypothesis was that if Lossiemouth and Woodhoo both turn up in the mares and they're pretty much, fighting it out for favourite, that means that there's uneasiness around Lossiemouth and you should be backing Woodhoo.
But are we just forgetting the fact that Lossiemouth absolutely whipped Woodhoo in the Aintree?
Did she absolutely whip her? I'm not
No.
sure she did.
Again, she hung up the straight in Aintree. If you watch that race again.
There's nearly 3 legs.
Took her a while to get past.
Woodhoo might have improved since. I think they probably went a bit early, the two of them, because of what was going on with Constitution Hill in behind. So that probably didn't. I think I like Woodhoo. I'm a big fan of hers. I don't think that her Christmas run is representative. I think there was clearly a problem. She was wearing a bandage. There must have been something that some sort of hold up that caused her an issue. I like the way that she finds a way to win, but you could say the same thing about Lossiemouth. But the point is, if Lossiemouth goes to the champion hurdle, then Jade de Grugy steps in, and she's not that far behind either, and she is being overlooked as being a potential player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else got a final minute so we can move on?
Woodhoo will win this. If the Lossiemouth that ran at Leopardstown goes to Cheltenham, Woodhoo will win.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
That's for you, Rich, not that I've got anything to do with it. I think this might be harder to win than the champion hurdle.
Well, I think Davey makes a good point. She wasn't herself at Leopardstown, and if she shows up in the same way, she won't win either.
No, that's and she.
And it is.
She has put her weight back on, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
She has.
I know the feeling. And the other thing is, you have to accept with Lossiemouth, she comes alight at Cheltenham. I couldn't care less what form she's been in out of the races. She is a different horse. When she hurtles down that hill at Cheltenham, she comes on the bridle, and she absolutely loves Cheltenham. It's just for her. I don't know why. Let's move on to the Paddy Power Stairs hurdle, because I think in lots of ways this is an absolute belter. Lots of possibilities here. You've got the old guard of Tierpoo and Bob Ollinger, and then you've got the young pretenders, Honesty Policy, Cabra de Matter, Marchand 2, and the enigma that is Ballyburn. Not to mention Impostoir, who could still go in the Coral Cup. Endo keeps dropping in the Coral Cup every time he mentions this horse. Now, I think he wants to run Impostoir in this race, but he's kind of, I feel, prepared us anyway. If it ended up in the county,
got any more ice?
in the Coral Cup,
Yes.
no one would be that. So it's
it
not,
more,
is
is that
it,
right?
no, it's not the Coral Cup anymore. Whatever the new race
Bet
is.
MGM.
That's it. The
Cup.
Bet MGM, everyone's favourite fund. So right. I'm going to start with Ben Pauling here because this is a good race, I think, the Stairs.
It is. I think Tearpoo's an incredibly good horse. I
Bless
think
you, thank you
he's.
very much.
He looked better than ever last time out to me, and I think he comes in with stronger form than he has done. I don't think Cabral de Matan is my idea of a proper stayer.
Would you fancy him in the champion hurdle?
I don't. I think he's that. I think he's Aintree myself.
Okay.
My fancy is Machantou. Emma Lavelle has done some pretty cool things with some stairs hurdle horses in the last few years. They all come from a pretty humble beginning and they keep improving and improving and improving. And people say that Impostoire didn't turn up last time out. Maybe Machantou's improving. If he is, then he's going to be one hell of a shout. He's set 6-1. I just think he's got half a chance. But I think Tearpoo's the one to beat because I just think he's a stayers hurdle horse through and through.
Okay. And Davy Russell?
I do think that the horse are getting the last year's first and second. But I'm talking to the guy that rides Henry's horse every day. Bob Ollinger every day, and he says whatever form he was in last year, he's an equal, if not better, this year. They're absolutely, he's their best chance going to Cheltenham is Bob Ollinger.
Age 11.
It's not for me.
Side of Burley's, wasn't it?
I'm not.
You're only the messenger.
Yeah, but they are. He's ready to rock and roll, and this happens every single year. We forget about Henry de Bromhead. He misses the DRF, and all of a sudden you turn up at Cheltenham and say, "Geez, Henry de Bromhead's some trainer, isn't he? He's 4 or 5 winners." And Bob Ollinger is one of them. I do like Machantou. I do like horses with form on the course, and he's an improver. He's only 7. I don't see it with honesty policy in any line of his form at any stage of his career. He needs to improve dramatically to beat these horses, especially the seasoned horses.
Okay. Anyone else got a strong fancy in the stairs?
So at the moment, I just think Tearpoo's too short because I think there are more potential horses lining up to beat him at this point, including Honesty Policy, who I agree with David would have to. Certainly, that form with the long work hurdle has been let down. The argument about him is that he's going to improve quite a lot because stepping up to 3 miles in open company for the first time, he showed a huge amount of promise, and so it's kind of built into the price that is what he's going to do. Chupa didn't quite get that. You rode, didn't you? The first time. Are you of the view that the first time that they're kind of pushed into Grade 1 company at 3 miles, it's really tough. It seems to me like it's hard for a young horse to make the jump first time.
Very difficult, but you must remember he had ran in the champion hurdle before I rode him.
Yes.
So there was no excuse. They did change his training regime after that year. He had run in Gorn and they felt that was too close. It looked like he had a solar around, but he actually empties the tank himself. A race has a huge effect on him.
Right.
It takes him quite a bit of time to get over his races.
Okay.
And you would imagine looking at him, he runs lazily and he's keeping a bit to himself, but he doesn't. He gives you everything. He's very genuine, but he can be quite hard on himself, and he has to be in like bouncing. The fresher and the better he is, the better he performs.
Okay.
Huge price. If you could get 4 places or so, Feet of a Dancer for Paul Nolan. Nice horse.
Wow.
Could run a big race.
I think she could run well.
Yeah.
I can't have Ballyburn at any price whatsoever.
I'd slightly disagree with you.
Go on.
For the simple reason is just the profile he fits. Failed chaser. They did feel that he would stay 3 miles by running him in the chase last year. I just think there's something that horse hasn't hit his rhythm since he was a hurdler, and I would give him the benefit. I just wouldn't write him off just yet.
I watched him at Christmas, and he did not want to go out and play. at any stage, and apparently he didn't want to go out and play at all in the Hatton's Race. Now, maybe they've done something to freshen him up.
No,
obviously.
I think that Willie's horses just weren't hitting the numbers.
But I watched him. He wouldn't go out of the pre-parade ring. They had to drag poor old Mystical Power back in, which lost him his race because he started sweating up and frothing.
Yep.
He was prostituted around the paddock to help Ballyburn. You know, that's what he apparently did in the Hatton's Race as well. He's gone in the head.
Didn't like
It
the
can
way you looked at
happen.
me
It
then.
can
But enough,
happen.
I do agree with you about Manchon C,
It's
though.
midnight and we're on Thursday.
I
You're
know,
doing great,
right,
Matt.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Doing my best, Rich. If you just said Lossiemouth's going to run in the mares, we could be about.
We could all go
could have
home.
finished day 4 by now. Speaking of Lossiemouth, incidentally, our friends at the Tote, there are representatives of the Tote here tonight. Where are they? Well, there are some. Find them because they are boosting Lossiemouth, and it is non-runner, no bet. Now, it's up to you. I mean, we all think if Lossiemouth runs in the mares, she could be a 4 to 7 shot, something like that. They will give you 5 to 4 right now. Non-runner, no bet. Lossiemouth in the mares. If you like her in the champion hurdle, they'll boost her to 4 to 1 from 5 to 2. Non-runner, no bet. So you just back them. If she doesn't go, you're going to win either way as long as she wins something. Also, Old Park Star, they're boosting to 5 to 2 from 7 to 4 for the Supreme. And also, if you do bet in the Supreme with the Tote, money back 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the Supreme as a £10 free bet. So just some offers. It's up to you whether you want to take them, but worth a look.
What price will they give Talk to Talk in the tournament?
That's not a special offer.
Well, make it a special for these people here tonight that have paid their money. I want a boost on Talk to Talk in the turners, which he's not going to run in. Everybody says he's not going to run in. But I want a boost on it for the people here
tell you what,
tonight.
David.
Just for the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
tonight.
I mean, you're playing the audience well. Obviously, I don't control the Tote.
No, I'm not saying to you, but I'm saying for the people in the Tote, I'd like an announcement made, please.
Okay, so I will see at half-time whether a Tote representative likes to come up to me and try and boost.
No, just do it. Just boost it. Just.
Like, I can't just
say
say
the word.
Okay, talk
Not
the talk.
you,
20 to
not you.
1 for the.
Not you. He was 10 to 1
I
2
was
days
not too
ago.
sure.
Yeah, you're right. You're making it absolutely.
He was 10 to 1 2 days ago.
Okay.
And he's
I
not
backed-
running in the race.
I backed Talk the Talk, and I'm nervous for the Supreme, and I'm nervous that he's
I
not
would be
gonna
nervous
run.
if I was you. And if I would be back Talk to Talk on the boost, because he's not going to run. But when they boost him, back him, because it's non-runner, no bet. I think that is. I thought I should have Aegis.
It's now 1 o'clock and we're still on Thursday.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
No, Richard said no.
I'm going to say it anyway.
Our survey said.
I'm going to say it. 4 to 1, Lossiemouth.
For the
Non-runner, no
champion
bet
hurdle.
for the champion hurdle.
In cheek pieces.
She only runs there if she's wearing cheek pieces, obviously.
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't. I was about to say it. Obviously, I'm
You
inferring
did,
that.
Rich. That's what it says on X right now.
I'm inferring that.
Say that.
And so therefore that must mean that they are going to go that way. They're thinking about it. That's the bet.
Only in a world of horse racing could you have a
What
debate
price would she
about
be?
a fella's horse who's sitting down at the end between the rest of us.
What price would she be if she runs?
I'm not good. I'm not a good person to answer that question, but I would have thought she'd be a lot shorter than 4s.
She'd be about 5 to 2, I think.
I'd have thought she'd be second favourite,
Yeah.
wouldn't she?
Yeah,
And I think
right.
that New Line would drift on
She
the
ain't
tail.
running the mare's hurdle. I'm telling you.
No.
So
No, we're here.
There you go. Put that on social media and just cut it to that bit. She's going to run in the mare's hurdle.
she may run in the mare's hurdle.
Oh, you can't change the word now, Rich. Right. You can take centre stage again, though, because we're onto the Ryanair chase. Gaelic Warrior. Are you running Gaelic Warrior? It's a very simple answer because you want to get on to day 4.
We're still on
Is
day 1
Gaelic
then.
Warrior running in the Ryanair or the Gold Cup?
I don't know, but I want to win a Gold Cup.
Yeah, no, he's answered.
No,
Rich
fair.
and Willie Mullins said when he has been interviewed in the last few days, it depends where Rich wants to run. Rich has just said, I want to run in the Gold Cup.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did. I listened to it today.
And if he did, he didn't mean it.
No, he didn't say that. Didn't say that. So again, some insight into what happens in horse racing. So what's happening is Paul Townend is desperate for me not to run Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup because he wants to ride Gaelic Warrior in the Ryanair so he can ride Gallop at the Champ. Patrick Mullins, who rides his work every day and is Woody's son, is desperate for me to run Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup. Willie will have his own view, which is often out of left field, at the last minute. Davey will know, he rode for him, this, that, the other. You know, we'll see what happens. I would like to win a Gold Cup. I think he is a Gold Cup horse. You know, I'm not sure what they're going to do with Factor File. The betting says at the moment that he's going to run in the Ryanair. I don't know. Look.
Do you pay the bills, Rich?
You pay the bills, but I'm not there every day. I don't see them work every day. I can't see how they're working against other horses. You rely on your trainer. You employ the best in any walk of life. You all know yourselves who are in business. You employ the best people you can, and you trust them. That's what I'm doing. That being said, I'd love to win a Gold Cup.
What do you want, Rich? What do you want?
I'd like to run the Gold Cup.
He said he wants the Gold Cup. If Factor File was supplemented, would you expect your horse to be in the Ryanair?
I don't know. Honestly, I'd like to run the Gold Cup.
Willie said that he wants to keep those two apart, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
Like
Now,
he doesn't pay the bills.
If you look at, but yeah, I know, but it's not that simple. You know that. But if you look at Factor File's performance after a 170s run, it's not great. And it's hard for him to put back to back.
I think that's ground related, personally. I don't think it's not being able to string together good performances.
What do you think it is then?
Ground related.
Ground. Okay.
I think it's tactic related.
Do you? Go on.
I think he just loves going forward.
Being positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it hard to see him ridden that way in a Gold Cup, whereas in a Ryanair it'd be very simple.
I was disappointed at
Kempton?
Leopardstown. No, in a bit. No, not at Kempton. We ran a great race.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking
No,
about
your horse ran a race. Your Gaelic Warrior has been way overlooked for the Gold Cup. If someone tells me that he won't stay the trip, I can't see. He ran so free. He burnt up more oil than any horse in the race, and he still got to the line.
But how about that freeness over an extra 2.5 miles?
That is
furlong, sorry,
that
everyone.
is-
Not 2.5 miles.
Steady on.
We haven't gone into endurance racing.
You're a jockey, so what I noticed was the horse kept jumping to the front, and Patrick was pulling him back.
Yeah.
Would you have cracked on?
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing to translate because in every given moment there are different situations. I don't know the horse, but what I do find with the horse, when he gets into his head that he's going to be free today,
He's gone.
He's going.
100%.
There is no two ways about that horse. Yeah. And other days he can be like a lamb, and my Lily would ride him off her baby
Aintree.
finger. Yeah. So I don't think he's way overlooked in the World Cup, but we'll get to that.
It's potentially a great Gold Cup anyway. Ben's got great horses.
The way
great
we're
Gold
going,
Cup.
we might not get to it. But
No, it's now 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, we'll try. Right, we're going to finish on the Ryanair. I want selections. Obviously, a load of horses may or may not run. Romeo Coolio could yet be in the mix. But if you had to have a bet now, I'm not going to come to you, Rich, because we don't know with you. But
Well,
Lydia,
it's Factor File and Gaelic Warrior are a million miles ahead of the rest of the field. And if they are kept apart, then only one runs, then it's whichever one runs. They're a million miles ahead in terms of quality of the rest of them. The rest of them won't get anywhere near them.
Agreed.
I mean, there's no horse who's a million miles ahead of
I'm
John Bond, is there?
exaggerating for effect, clearly, my dear. Are you a stranger to such things?
Ben?
I think the audience knows the answer to that question.
Honestly, when you're in this kind of mood, Commander, just let you just set the drones off one after the other. Drones. I've got the counter defence going bing, 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 bing. Right, Ben.
For what it's worth, I think Gaelic Warrior will go in the Gold Cup, and I think Factor File will stay in here because I think JP's hand is probably stronger now than he thought it was 3 weeks ago.
Okay, and
In the Gold Cup, that is.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's probably right.
David?
I agree with Ben. I think Factor File will go to the Ryanair.
Okay. And I would bet John Bond non-runner no bet because I think he could almost go off favourite for this race eventually. It's not unlikely, and he's basically been over the wrong trip for
You
most
mean
of his
if
races.
both of them exit, both of the other two
Well, if
exit
it's
in the
not
race?
impossible, he could go off at least second favourite behind.
No, he
probably
will be
Factor
second
File.
favourite.
Just finally, because we're just going to take a bit of a breather in a moment. If you think that Gaelic Warrior is going to run in the Gold Cup, can you give me the biggest Richie roar? So is he going to run in the Gold Cup?
Yes!
On that, we will go for a quick drink. We'll do day 4 and the chit chat after this.
Thank you.
Come on, yeah.
We're nearly set, ladies and gents. Last photo, Rich, come on. Here we go. Right. Just before we kick off the second half, we do this every year. Hopefully, none of you have been feeling each other too closely during the break, because under your seats there are 10 golden envelopes in the audience under your seats with a free Tote voucher in it. So you need to check underneath, not on the...
Nothing under our seat.
No, Lydia, you have not got a free Tote voucher.
Some ice and some water.
No, yeah, definitely. Always.
No, absolutely not. Not with the amount you're earning from Sporting Life. Right. Who's got a voucher? Hands up. 1, 2, 3 Willy Wonka golden tickets. 4, 5, 6. There should be 10. Okay, well, check any seat that hasn't got someone sat on it.
I've got 6.
Rich has got 6 golden tickets and a partridge in a pear tree. Right. We nearly got to day 4, but we didn't quite, so we're going to go there now. Another golden ticket, well done, sir. Enjoy. Right,
So,
we're going to go
my notes.
rattling through, and then you get your chance to answer some questions, or we do anyway.
I can't
Right,
not do the
ask some
road
questions.
Cheltenham, can I?
Right.
We're doing the Wednesday.
I'll try.
It was great.
Let's just bring it back.
I know, I did feel really-
Did we get a boost on Talk to Talk? Did we manage to do that?
What did he say?
No, that's a no.
No? Don't worry, William Hill next year. Right. Only joking, we love the Tote. Okay, JCB Triumph Hurdle is a terrific race for youngsters on the Friday. Rich, you are a man who is a key player in this race. Are you, with Selma Daveri, one of the biggest eye catchers from the DRF, are you likely to win the Triumph Hurdle, do you feel?
Well, it's an interesting race, and again, a little of what happened. So this year, I normally buy 1 or 2 3-year-olds. I normally don't buy more than that. This year, I bought 5. Part of it because it's getting harder to assess some of the point-to-point talent, because they're geared up, and Davey would have a view, they're geared up to win these races, and they turn out not to be so good. But we bought 5. I've got one that won't run. I'm going to save him. I had a horse called Manita, who was lovely, who finished behind a horse called Malaga, who's done very well in this country. JP owns it, who died, unfortunately. And I've got 3 left. I've got Selma Davasi, as you said, or Selma Davari, sorry. I've got Charme de Faust, and I've got Madness Dell. They're all entered in the Triumph and the Fred Winter, and both Charme de Faust and Selma are entered in the Mare's Novice. My prior is to not, or American expression, sorry, my preference is to not take each other on in the Triumph. So we're debating now who's best suited to what. The highest rate of them is, as you pointed out, is Selma. She's rated 138. Madness Dell is 133. Charme de Faust, does she have a rating? What did they give her? 133 as well?
Let me look. I'll look.
I think they did. Look, the the challenge is that on the new course, it's more of a stamina sapping trip. The challenge you have is that they're both run over the same distance on the same day, and the Fred Winter is run on the old course on the Tuesday. We'll split them up. At the moment, the most likely, and this is subject to change, but the most likely is Madness Dell will run in the Fred Winter. Selma will run in the Triumph, given her performance at Dublin Racing Festival, which I can talk about more if you want to know. And Charme de Fos would run in the Mare's Novice, where a 4-year-old has never won, by the way, but she gets 10 pounds, which is a big weight difference.
Just while we're on the Triumph, because I think people would like to hear a bit more, the gist from Willie Mullins appears to be that this filly will have improved a bundle for that run.
Yeah, she would have. It was a very sharp and quick preparation. So just so you know, I normally buy my fillies or my horses, not just fillies, in France between now and July. And then Willie can get them, let them down for a bit, and then bring them up in the way he normally trains them. She came to us in November, I think. So she'll have been trained by somebody else, and Ben might have a view. She'll have been trained by somebody else. She'll have been, we don't know how much work she did. I mean, in Woody's yard, you can see, when they're coming through, she's done this many too big, she's done this fast work, you didn't know. So we kind of left her alone. And like most French fillies, or French horses, she was quite sharp, gave her some time. She wasn't clearly needed that run at the Dublin Racing Festival. What she did, as Woody said himself in the article in the Sporting Life, between the home turn and the second last was incredible. And Paul said, I thought she was going to win. And Paul said, I asked her for one in the second last. She took a deep breath and she took a big blow afterwards. So you've got to be comfortable with that. But I think she is a sharp filly. That's the challenge. And that course takes getting on the Friday. So we'll see what happens, but we're going to split them up as my prior. Now, that being said, we could run 2 in the Triumph, but I'd like to try and win the Mare's Novice. I think Bambino Fever is a very, very fine horse, but having to give one of those 2 10 pounds would be a challenge, I think.
Okay. Selma's around 7-2 for the Triumph. Charme de Faust is around 10-1, and to be honest, the other one is any price you like, around 33-1.
Madness Dell, I think, is probably most likely, as I said, for the Fred Winter.
Okay, and just in a word, Rich, this is a horse you really like, Varia. Varia is a good horse.
Selma. Goliath de Burle, David will talk about the sire, is the sire of the moment. She ran brilliantly, recommended highly from a trainer I buy from a lot, and she was bloody Jesus expensive. So hopefully she's good.
How much was she?
I'm not going to say, but she was expensive. Yeah.
Okay.
For what it's worth, Ruby Walsh is talking about her as being a future champion hurdler.
Okay. Or mares.
I think she's next year's horse, no matter what. She needs to fill in. To Lydia's point, I think she is next year's horse, but hopefully she nicks the Triumph in the meantime.
Okay. Will she be in cheap pieces in the champion hurdle or not?
Forget about it. I'd rather in the Fred Winter because she is sharp.
Davey, you got a mention there by Rich about the pedigree. Is this a horse on paper who should have cost a lot of money?
Not necessarily on paper, but that's the beauty of Rich Ritchie. He goes to have a look. He can see it, whereas I have to look, or people like me have to look at what potentially is there. Whereas Richie will look visually and see them run. So he bought her on her performance in when she was second in Tote, but her breeding would suggest that to me, and it's a game of, it's like a fashion show. Some people like him, some people don't, but she's by Goliath de Burle out of a Monteau mare, so it's all style. For me, there'll be a lot of style in that filly, and obviously her physique must be good. It's just, it ticks a lot of boxes anyway.
Anything grab our panel in the Triumph outside of Richie's horse?
It's a very good Triumph, by the way. It's the best in years, I think.
Wide open.
The Skeltons have begun to be very positive.
If Manella's study was trained by a trainer, Adam Nichols, a really decent fella, he knows the time of day. He's won 3 from 3 I firmly believe this is a player, and I think if it was trained by a well-known trainer, it would be favourite, if I'm honest. Its form at Cheltenham last time was very, very good. Skeltons do seem really keen on Maestro Conti. I think Dan's got a lot of very good horses to run this year. He's stood out from the pack in the British trainers this year, and he's making a real good fight of it. And he's a good friend, but obviously a competitor, and we've got to aim at something. But he's very sweet on Maestro Conti as well.
Okay, the Albert Bartlett is tricky. We're not absolutely sure who will run. I think the Devil You Know is going to be banging the mix as a solid stayer already. Again, this race, any horse in here that someone wants to mention? Ben, you've got a horse in here.
I genuinely think I'll go very, very close.
You told me you were going to win.
Yeah. There's a horse called Mondui Boy that has only run twice for me. He didn't run his first run.
It's 25 to 1.
Yeah, for me until the 15th of January. So, Mondui Boy. And I bought him out of the David Maxwell dispersal sale. He's a great big raw horse. I didn't know how much had been done. He wouldn't be one you want to rush. He was grand at Ludlow. You couldn't see half the race because it was in the fog. He went to Ascot. If you take the form literally, he ran to a very good level because there were some highly rated novices in there. I don't think it was necessarily the greatest novice there's been, but the way he won the race to me was very good. And all I will tell you is I've never known a horse come out of a race quite like this. He is literally firing on all the cylinders. He's come in his coat completely. He looks insane. And I'm now very sweet on him. I really am very sweet on him.
Hurrah! 140,000 Mondui Boy, and he was impressive the other day.
115.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Commander would like to come in.
Can I just throw into a big price that I think will run well? One is Clint Madrick, who chased Tono Drama this end in the Challow Hurdle. I think this is the trip that he wants. I think it's potential that he's just a very sort of raw horse and he's not able to deal with it. But raw horses repeatedly win this race. I think he'll take a good step forward for the Steppenham trip. And the other one is King's Bucks of Henry de Bromhead's, who has got some course form. And I can see him, this race, particularly the way it's run, really suiting him. So those are two at around about 20 to 1 and 25 to 1, and I think they've got good chances.
Thank you, Lydia. Right, the big race of the week technically is the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. There is one member of the panel who has won the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and I want to go to him first, which might seem strange when we've got Jukebox Man, etc. But Davey, you've experienced it. For you, is this? I mean, you've won Grand Nationals, but is this the ultimate prize in the world of national hunt?
It is the golden egg, really. Like, you know, it's the tip top. Look, you hear about Gold Cups, but until you ride in one and experience it, it's some race. Like, they will go quick for a long, long way and quicken again and quicken again. You need an exceptional horse. You need a horse ticking off a lot of boxes to win a Gold Cup, and I was just fortunate enough to find one of them.
Well, yeah, and a very odd one as well.
Yeah, very odd one, yeah.
Lord Windermere kind of shows you that anything can win the Gold Cup.
Yeah,
Once.
yeah, but I suppose
one bad race.
Pardon?
Lord Windermere, one bad race. I was talking, Matt was saying,
Yeah.
you can't.
But he'd won a Sun Alliance, and
Yeah.
he'd been very competitive in them senior chases all the way through. So I think that, I don't know, that maybe might have been exaggerated by the way he was ridden. But at the same time, he won and he was very good, and it's just an unbelievable feeling. It was different because it was a Stewart's inquiry and things like that. And but at the same time, it was unbelievable to win a Gold Cup. It really was a thing of dreams.
Who do you think will win it this time?
I think it'll be an English horse. I think it'll come from the.
Good if you've turned up in green.
It'll come from the King George, and I just have Django Boy in the back of my head. I just have it in the back of my head that he was the finisher. He was ticking a lot of boxes for me. I didn't realise, but Ben's horse is unbeaten over fences, which is an unbelievable feat, and he keeps winning. And again, it's a habit that I like with horses. Horses that just keep winning. But I just feel that Django Boy for me was aiming towards March, you know.
Okay. The Arkle winner from last year hung out wide in the King George, ran on strongly after the final fence, but he didn't catch the Red Nat Ben Pauling machine that is the Jukebox Man. Why, Ben, will you confirm the King George form?
My thoughts on the King George is that going into the race, it was supposed to be the best King George there'd been for many years. As soon as they crossed the line, everyone was delighted with the way the race panned out. It was a great finish. It was a fabulous race. But straight away, pundits, critics, whatever you want to call them, said that it was slow early doors. It was actually a track record, so it can't have been that slow. And I think it's the strongest King George before the King George, and I think it'll be the strongest King George. And I do honestly believe, if you look at the head of the market, the three horses that contested the finish at the top of the market, and it would be daft of me to sit here and say that it's a foregone conclusion and my horse is going to win or the rest of it, because this is the best Gold Cup there's been for so many years. And I keep asking myself, is that because they're just a bunch of average horses or horses that just aren't quite exceptional? Or is it because we've just got a plethora, finally, of proper 3 mile staying chasers? And that's what I firmly believe it is. So we all know this race, Davey, you'll confirm it, it's all about rhythm. It's all about jumping, it's about rhythm, and it's about kicking off the final bend and having enough to go away. And I know the way you're thinking, went and floored Galopin de Champs last year when people didn't think that was possible.
Yeah.
He's been an absolute missing entity all season. Suddenly he's being backed into 7s, 8 to 1, whatever it is. I think there's 7 or 8 you can rule in. All I can tell you is that our lad is bulletproof. He jumps, he travels, and I swear on my life, he will relish the extra distance. Those people that think he's a Kempton specialist,
Even though he got picked up in the Albert Bartlett.
just forget that. It was 2 years ago. He was out in front for the whole race. He kicked for home plenty early enough, considering he was uncontested, and then he sat at the horse missed the last, let's put it that way, and he lost all his rhythm, and he was lonely and he got nobbled. That's fine. He's a totally different horse. I've absolute faith in the horse, but I don't believe it's an easy assignment, but I wouldn't change him.
So I've got an open mind about whether or not he'll be as effective at Cheltenham. Totally open mind. I can see your reading of the Albert Bartlett. I do have a question mark about whether flat tracks might suit him best. Equally, I could see that would be completely wrong. I'm not suggesting he's a Kempton specialist. I just wondered whether his way of going, whether that is, it sounds like it's not a concern in your head at all.
No, because jumping 3 out in the King George, I thought we won by 3. Mm-hmm. I honestly thought we'd win by 3. Ben Jones came back and said he felt like he needed the King George. He took a blow after the 3rd last, and jumping the last, I'd already resigned the fact we were going to finish 4th. And to get back in front from the back of the last at in the King George against horses like Gaelic Warrior, like Banbridge, who's a specialist ready for that day, I think that was incredible. I honestly, if he'd finished 4th, I'd still fancy him for the Gold Cup. In my head, he's never been a fast horse at home. He's obviously a different horse on the track, and there's no question mark in my head over the trip. Mm-hmm. But hearing Davey, I've never had a runner in a Gold Cup. Okay, so it'd be fortune's luck if I went and succeeded on my first go. I'd be relieved. But listening to Davey talk about riding in a Gold Cup, the speed they go, the time they're expected, how much you're travelling for basically 3 miles at 32 mile an hour.
Oh, full tilt, yeah.
Full tilt. And then
you mightn't read it on the clock and the screen, but different parts of the race, you just don't get a chance to fill. There's no fill, there's no wait, there's no sit, quiet. Like Cauto Star won Tingle Creeks and over 2 miles, and all them horses were capable of winning over 2 miles, and they still were off the bridle. You know what I mean? We're shoving the coal on from a long way out. So it'll just tell you you can have your Queen Mother chases and your champion hurdles and all that, but the Gold Cup is, especially a Gold Cup like this. You know, we've all, last couple of years, we haven't had real tough, real depth to the races. This year, the Gold Cup has so much depth. Like Rich's horse, I love him. I think he's got everything. He's bang there. Django Boy is bang there. Your horse, Galloping the Champs, is the reigning champion, and we'll dismiss him as small because he's not good enough. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's good enough.
Former champion.
Former champion. Sorry, yeah, and then you're looking at last year's winner and the effect. Yeah, if he has enough class, if he has that little bit of early class, he definitely has the stamina. So there's so many horses in it. None of them would shock me if they won it, and I do feel it could be a Lord Windermere Gold Cup, that there could be 6, 4, 5 horses coming down the hill.
I know we don't want to go on for hours, but the class angle for me is more important than the stamina, because you say Haiti Klur, he has the stamina, but if he doesn't have the class, it doesn't matter that he has the stamina. So
ridden the way he's going to be ridden, he's going to be on the front end, isn't he?
It's irrelevant, really.
Do you not think if you're the Dallas Stayer, the second you're beat?
I don't think he'll hold his position.
No, that.
But he did in the Irish National. He freewheeled a bit
Irish
like
National
Gaelic
is a
Warriors.
It's a handicap.
A handicap, and he was a novice.
He was
on the way
obviously
up.
wrong in the Betfair, but he didn't go a flipping yard.
Okay. And do we just give up on Galloping de Champs?
No, I don't think we do.
Ah, you do. He's had his time. No, I don't mean it like that. I just mean that there's a new bunch there. There's just new horses.
It is possible. I mean, it's possible that he won't win.
Like, he's a credit. Like, what a horse to come back and do what he's done, even run well and even come back again. Like, last year's winner couldn't do that. So, you know, I'm not dismissing the horse, but I'm just saying the race itself, I feel Rich's horse will be the number one. Mullins' horse, I know, I can understand Paul's predicament. It'd be very hard to get off him.
He won't get off Galloping.
I know what I'd do.
But you caught the commander out there a bit, because she's used to Ruby going, yes, commander, yes, commander, yes, commander. And then she's had some challenge.
He said no several times this evening. You haven't been listening.
I don't disagree. I'm not shooting you. Your point is very valid, and I wouldn't.
I haven't made it yet.
I wouldn't.
I think we need to bring Rich in because
he's
if I'm honest,
dozing off.
I'm not just saying this because he's here. My biggest concern is your horse, because before the King George, you went $1 million. He was on one of those runaway days, and he looked like he was dead in the water, and he still found a way to get up. And I think
that was a phenomenal race.
That was unbelievable, and I think that's the best form this year, England or Ireland. That's what I firmly believe, and I think we were beneficiaries of that, if I'm honest, in the King George, because they probably had a harder race than they needed to. So you've been to the DRF. We all know that Leopardstown doesn't suit your horse.
My horse hates Leopardstown, yeah.
So that makes me question the Leopardstown form, because if Rich's horse finished second, that was by far his best performance, because he's a lot better elsewhere.
Yeah. Look, he's a fine, thank you very much for that. He's a fine horse. And the challenge is, and I'm going to be very frank, you have an amateur riding. I love Patrick. He's ridden lots of horses for me, but he's an amateur. Davey will have a definite view. I have no problem with Patrick riding it, but, you know, he's not a professional. He doesn't ride as many races as the other guys, that sort of thing. But the horse is very talented, and I go back to Aintree, where he gave the horse an incredible ride after a very difficult season on ground that he wouldn't have cherished, and he gave it a great ride. So, look, I would love to win the Gold Cup, and I'm desperate to win the Gold Cup, as most people know. So, let's see what happens, but I think it's an incredible race. It's the best quality race in a good number of years, 100%.
It's certainly the biggest strength in depth for a good number of years.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a fantastic renewal. It's got everything you want. The last two winners, the youngsters coming through, some roughies that could easily run well at big prices, It's a Gold Cup for the
Matt.
ages, and we haven't even talked about the likes of Banbridge, also Grey
Banbridge,
Dawning.
yeah, good horse.
Matt,
Yeah.
my dear, can I say anything about the Gold Cup? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Who wants to hear from Lydia on the Gold Cup? Liars, lying.
They are lying. That's the hearing of the gods.
Go on,
yeah.
Lydia.
So, I mean, I think this is the deepest Gold Cup we've had for many, many years. It's not necessarily going to produce the best performance we've seen for many years. I mean, Galopin de Chambre is one of the best, consistently best horses that have been around. He's not Courto Star, clearly, but in terms of the level that he ran to over a very long period of time, he was a tremendous horse. Now, he wasn't at his best last year. You saw that from jump number 2. He wasn't ever travelling. He was ballooning. I think that this season he's had a setback on the way to the Savills Chase. They said that he came out of the Savills Chase and basically did too much and had a reaction to it. Didn't run as well in the Irish Gold Cup. I think the key to this horse running to a very high level, which makes him competitive, I'm not saying he's going to win, is first-time cheek pieces. I argued this from the last November. I think they'll put first-time cheek pieces on him, and I think he'll be a tough nut to crack and shouldn't be dismissed in that scenario. However, immediately after the DRF, he was 10-1. Now he's best price 15-2. I give the Jukebox Man a huge chance. He's a great jumper. I do have a concern. I did have a concern about the flat tracks. That remains in my mind. You know, I'm prepared to believe that I'm completely wrong about that, but I think he's got a huge chance. Hugely talented. I love the way he jumps. I love the way he managed to wrest that race away from the rivals from the last fence. I thought that was fantastic. I can give Django Bai a huge chance. I think he was being pushed out to his left a little bit by the Duke's Watts Man in the straight, and he was never quite. He was always in position C, and I can see him staying as well. I can see Gaelic Warrior. I think that he will improve for Tep and Trip. My worry about Gaelic Warrior is, you said it, Davey, he can have a good day and a bad day in terms of settling.
100%.
If he has a bad day in terms of settling, then he is cooked in a race of this quality. So, I mean, if you're into in running, you might want to have a look at that. Maybe you can bury him. That's what they did in the Arkle, and it worked. I can't have Haiti Couleur. I don't think it's good enough. I can't have I Know the Way You're Thinking. I know this is anathema, but use your eyes, not your ears. I mean, look at what he's done all last season. Last season, he got steadily better.
Yeah.
The last time we saw him, he emptied 2 strides in the last, and he ended up on the floor, and everybody's worried, is he ever going to get up from that? Thankfully, he did. And there's a lot of yakety yak about him having been better. I know that on the circuit like us, that we're all on the festival previews, that somebody has mentioned that he's had a cortisone injection in his back. I pass that on just so that you are aware that that is what people are talking about.
That could be helpful.
I've no idea whether it's true or false, but that is presumably connected
Doesn't
to
change a horse
that
much.
But it's presumably connected to the fact he's in backed, isn't it? People thinking, okay, I don't think he needed to be as... I think he's been overrated for his win last year. I don't think Galopin de Chambre was at his best. I can't have Grey Dawning either. So I think it's a really competitive race.
And who wins, Commander?
I know. I don't know.
You asked for her. I gave you the chance to dismiss her. And you said, no, bring her on. And now you're booing.
I tell you what.
You've only got yourselves to blame.
At the moment, Haiti Couleur and I Know the Way You're Thinking are to some degree making this market up the front. I think this is a race that you need to make your mind up a little bit nearer the time, because there are 2 horses there that I think have got no chance whatsoever, and they're currently at much shorter prices than they will be on the day. Things are going to shorten, things are going to lengthen. Back your view now. I think if you are with certain horses that you think are going to get shorter.
Okay,
I think his will get shorter.
Finally,
and I think that Django Bay will get shorter.
Finally, because I'm going to push you here. If you forgot about prices, which you might say is sacrosanct, but if you just forget them, which is the horse you think will win the Gold Cup? Just the name.
I'm going to go with Django Bay.
Django Bay. Rich Ritchie, Gaelic Warrior.
If the Warrior runs, he wins.
Okay. The problem is Ben thinks the Jukebox Man. Davey.
Django Bai, or if you want to be sitting the fence to King George.
I'd love Django to win it for Tony
fine.
Barney. He'd definitely be a selection of mine, but I'm going to go with Galopin. I just think I think he'll go off favourite, Galopin de Chambre.
He won't.
Oh, not a chance.
I think he will.
Chance.
I'll be very confident. Right. Don't encourage them, Rich. Right, we're going to questions. Have we got someone who's going to go around with a mic?
Have you got
Yes,
some more
we
wine
have.
down there, Amadeus?
course I
Lady
do.
at the
We need
back,
some
thank you so
ice.
much.
Oh.
Right,
Get
if
some
you've got a question, stick your hand up and the mic will come to you. Here we
I
go.
think he will improve.
Hopefully it will work.
He's only gone to get ice.
Right,
Hello?
here we go.
Hello?
Hello.
Can we get somebody to get us some wine and some ice?
It's for Ben and Lydia.
Yeah.
Just about Meet Me by the Sea. Can we just have a couple of minutes on
The winner of the Jack Richards.
Oh yeah, in there.
Hi.
The winner of the
Just
Jack
about
Richards.
Meet Me by the Sea. Is he running the Jack Richards?
Yes.
And what chance did he have?
The winner.
Hopefully very good. Look, he's a lovely horse. He's been campaigned over 2 miles most of his career. The one day we stepped him up to 2.5 last year. Unfortunately, he scoped dirty after the race. I couldn't believe he got beat in the EBF final, but he did. Finished third, beat a length. It's been a struggle getting races into him because of the way the programme is. But he won as he did. Sometimes looked hard work over 2 miles. He was outclassed on that ground. He doesn't want heavy ground. He's not going to get heavy ground. I hope he can be very competitive.
He's the winner, as you rightly divine, isn't he? Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to improve for the step up in trip. He jumps absolutely beautifully. How efficient he is. I thought he ran really well in the EBF. So it's interesting that you had some problems with him as well.
I thought he won by 10.
And we couldn't see him from 5 out in the game spirit.
Yeah.
Rich, other horses that you might have running that we haven't mentioned, are there any that you would like to give a quick shout before we go to another question?
In the handicap. So I've got a horse called O'Moore Park. God love him. I don't know how many times he's run over fences. He's still a novice. He must have run 10 times over fences. He finished third last year in what the equivalent is of the Jack Richards. He's 33-1. He's been tipped by somebody in the Racing Post. He likes Cheltenham, and he has a chance. The other one, I've never won a handicap at.
Have you not?
No, at Cheltenham at the festival.
Too classy.
Well, now that might be the horses, not the owner. But the.
I left that hanging. You went and
But
explained
I think he has a chance. He's getting a big price. He's like 33-1. He finished third last year. He's in 2 races though, so I'm not sure which one he's in the plate on Tuesday as well. Look, he's a good horse. He jumps well. He likes the better ground. He'll be all right. And the other one is St. Lucy, who won first time out brilliantly, has kind of lost her way. I hope she gets into the Martin Pipe, and you never know. Those are the other ones.
Okay. Questions. Here we go.
Davey, I'm sure you're the only person that's ridden around Cheltenham that's here tonight. Could you possibly give us with or without your connection with Gordon Elliott? Not one in the big races. Could you give us one each way in the smaller races?
Well, they're all big races. I do like a horse called Jalan Dudaris in the what's it called, the Albert Bartlett. He was 33-1. He's into 20-1. He was third in the festival bumper. It's a good horse. Jalan Dudaris.
Challenge the diary. Right.
Jalan did, darling.
Here we go. That's the
Jalon.
one. Well done, Leah.
Need the ice.
Thank you, cheers.
Hello.
Hello.
Question from the sub-chat for Ben / the crowd. What's stopping you from rolling the dice with handstands in the Ryanair? You're going to have 5 runners. 2-part question. If you could own any horse for the rest of the crowd, what would you pick, please? Richie, no horses you own, obviously.
So why am I not running handstands in a Ryanair? Because I don't believe, even though all his best form is over 2.5, I don't believe that's where he is. I've entered him in a national because I believe he's well handicapped and he'll stay forever. The owners and I were very keen to see where he sat over a national trial because it will make our decision for the rest of the season. So we're going to the Ultima. A lot of people will, including this man to my right, will tell me that he's by Getaway, and Getaway would be a little bit of a soft sire, okay? They wouldn't be the hardiest horses, and he's obviously supremely talented. He beat Django Bai last year in the Scilly Isles in an all-out finish at Sandown on heavy ground. He's not soft. He hasn't had his own way this season. He's had a bit of a wind issue to get over, and I firmly believe that the Fleur de Lis brought him back to his best. So why not exploit your handicap mark and try and roll the dice? As Rich has pointed out tonight, festival winners are festival winners. Okay, so we've just basically decided that Factor File's going for the Ryanair, so's John Bon. So what's the point? Because we're probably not going to beat them over that trip. The Gold Cup is red hot, so let's go for the ultimate and try and win that. And if I could train any horse right now, it would probably be. No. It would probably be.
One for the audience.
It would. Do you know what? It would be Old Park Star, because I think whatever he does this year, he'll be a phenomenal horse next year.
Rich, you can train or own any horse right now other than one you currently train or own. Who would it be?
I just bought 2 this week. I'm quite excited about. But I would say Mighty Park. Pardon my accent. Mighty Park. They talk about him all the time at Willie's Yard, and as I said, I could have bought him because in the Opera, but they think he's an absolute machine. So interesting. I don't know if they'll run it. I think JP. It's up to JP, of course, but I think he's debating whether to run him or not. He's only had 1 run, and I know that Willie was quite keen to keep him over as a bumper horse. That's when we first bought him. That was what. Well, sorry, I don't know that, but that's what he told me he would be. And running over hurdles, year 1, who knows? But he's a very, very talented horse, and that is interesting. So I'd say that. The other one would be the Jukebox Man. He's a very good horse. Yeah, he's a great horse. Okay. That was great for Harry Dunlop and great for the sport.
Redknapp.
Harry Redknapp?
Who?
Harry Dunlop.
Definitely not Dunlop. Redknapp.
Redknapp, sorry, Harry Dunlop. Sorry, he owes me money. Anyway,
This is when we should have been having the champion hurdle and mares.
No, I'm absolutely fine.
You've made an error here.
No, he was great, and we had a big hug afterwards, and he was great. It was great for the sport, great for Ben. Hell of a race to King George.
Lydia, quickly.
If I could own one horse.
You can own or train.
I'm a total sentimentalist. It would be Galopin de Champs. My favourite horse in training. I've loved him since the moment since he jumped a fence.
And you have him for about another year.
Did you not like him in the Martin Pipe?
I didn't know, sadly. I was late, gotten on. But I thought he was a brilliant jumper as a fence.
Okay.
David?
I'd be picking one of the novice, maybe Talk. Probably could buy him. Well, I couldn't buy him. A Rich could.
You could.
Rich could.
You could, Davy Russell.
Rich could buy him.
All those coups you pulled off.
But I'd say Talk. Looks like a really good novice you'd be looking towards the future, or Nicky's horse in the Supreme Novices.
Yeah.
This poor man's arm's hanging off, man.
In we go.
Chebbers.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
The hammer's fallen.
Hello?
If Lossie runs in the champion, does it win?
She won't run. She'll run in the mares. And she won't. No. I think the new Lion is completely underestimated. Even though he's favourite, I think he was brilliant. Even though the form may not have worked out as a novice, I'm absolutely sure he would have won the Fighting Fifth, despite what my esteemed friends say. And he was doing his best work in the last 20 yards last time in a slowly run race, which isn't suited.
Come on.
This will be a strongly run champion hurdle where his stamina will come into play. And I think he will.
There's no chance of Lossie in the champion.
No one's mentioned it all week. Bet of the week, Bambino. Bet of the week.
Bambino Flower, okay, the
Fever.
Have you been on it as well?
So why does she turn the form around with Old School Outlaw?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
It's catching. Right, can we just wait for the mic to get to you so that everyone else can hear your question? We have one down here.
Quick one for Rich and quick one for Ben. Rich, you mentioned Patrick riding Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup. Is he definitely going to ride him? And then Ben, Lossiemouth for the champion if she goes. What's the difference between cheap pieces and, say, a visor or headgear? You said nothing to do with those, but you'd be on it for cheap pieces. But Rich, Gold Cup, Gaelic Warrior, Patrick, or Danny?
No, well.
Get Danny on.
Sorry. So I love Danny. I absolutely love Danny. But as you can imagine, Mullen's cousins, nephews, uncles, the politics are incredible. So Patrick rides him work every day. I love Danny. and sometimes I'll jock Patrick off to ride Danny. But because, sorry, I'll sometimes jock Patrick off for Danny to ride. Sorry. Janie Mac, sorry about that. But what happens with, because this fella, Patrick rides every day in work, I'm very comfortable with him riding. So I would think if Paul is going to insist on riding Galop de Champs, which I could see why he would, then Patrick would ride Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup.
So Rich loves Danny so much, he's going to chuck him off the horse.
No, I love Danny. Danny
loves him.
And a great friend.
But he's not going to use him.
Well, no, that's not my choice. And he rides him to work every day.
No.
If they don't ride him to work every day, and Paul picks a horse, this is the way it works. So if Paul picks a horse...
I was champion hurdle last year, discuss.
Who rode who?
It was Patrick, who was on Lossiemouth, wasn't it, until 11:59?
Yes, but if we had run in the champion hurdle, I would have changed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That happens sometimes.
You'd have had to be really quick at like 11:59.
No.
Well, they clearly were.
Willie tends to put jockeys up, and then we have to... You say something to Willie, and then he does what he wants to do anyway, then you have to say, whoa, we didn't agree that. Anyway, that's the answer to that question.
We've got a lot of questions.
Sorry, there's a second question.
Blinkers or cheap pieces. So I think there's a fine line as a trainer between being too slow to go to blinkers, because they're like the final aid, and some people are very quick to jump to blinkers too soon, and you end up with a horse that doesn't try very hard. So, in the industry we call it, you make them a pig, because you give them no choice but to go flat out forward. And a horse can only give you that much effort that many times. So what we're trying to do, certainly as I as a trainer, whether I'm right or wrong, because I'm only just bloody starting out in realistic terms, is I always try and keep a horse to the shorter distance it can possibly win over before I go to the longer distance, because the more miles on the clock, the harder it's going to be for the horse. So if I was in the fortunate position of training Lossiemouth and I was thinking about headgear, I would personally go with cheap pieces before blinkers, because one thing that you can pick on tonight is the two very knowledgeable people to my left have both agreed that she always tries. So you're not forcing her to do something, you're asking her to concentrate and travel. So cheap pieces are the concentrate and travel. This is, we're in Schitt's Creek and we really need to gallop.
That's really well put.
So that's why I do.
That's really well put.
So in human parlance, I need blinkers.
I think we all need blinkers at certain times of the day.
And more. Well, no, I'm not going.
Steady on.
You'll laugh at this because he's just won the King George, but just over the longer trip, did you think talking about cheap pieces as Duke man, just to help him keep
Are
going?
you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, why would you do that?
He's never come off the bridle in his flipping life.
Well,
See,
he
he's
did
got
when
the
he got
opposite
beaten by
problem.
Stella's Story.
Oh my
You keep
God.
reverting back to that.
No, just forget that question.
Okay.
Not even gonna ask
Okay,
that.
time will tell.
He's never... No.
Remember this conversation.
Over
Right.
it, over it. Quick one, I think it's for all the panel, to be fair. It's a bit of a surprising one this year, but I fancy the Morn Rambler big time for the bumper.
Right.
What does everyone what does everyone make of having a flat jockey booked? I know it's not the most common thing, so
It's a bit
where
of
would
fun.
you stand? Yeah.
I think it's a bit of fun.
I'd rather have Sam Ewing, to be honest. That's just my opinion.
With a big national hunt horse, would it help having a bigger rider, or does it make no difference?
No, that's a bit of a, like, Frank Berry was that height, and Ruby Walsh was that height, and, Patrick Mullins is that height. That's.
How about the load of lead, though, as opposed to an actual?
No, that's like
Davey,
Frank Berry was 9 stone. He was champion. John O'Neill was 9 stone. Jack Kennedy was very light, and Paul Townend was 9 stone. That's no.
David, can you answer this question? Flat jockeys, jump jockeys. Okay? A flat jockey comes to ride in the champion bumper. You might be your best mate, but you're not going to make his life easy. Does it make any difference to whether it's you, Ruby, Barry, hollering for a bit of room, or Colin Keane
No, it'd be the same in my eyes. No one would get a bit of light.
I think that's what Ben's getting at.
Correct.
But my thing with flat jockeys, it's fine. Don't get me wrong, no, he's an exceptional rider. But like, you're asking him to, like, how many 2-mile races does he ride in anyway? You know what I mean? How many, like...
Because a lot of Irish amateurs keep the rides because they ride.
Yeah, because they ride. That's their
in
job.
my head is a bit.
Yeah, but your amateurs are different than our amateurs.
Yes, I get that. I get that.
But you must realise in Cheltenham there are ridges, and you don't feel them in a jump race, but you feel them in the bumper. Yeah. And a horse can be ducking and diving and going forwards and backwards. And the biggest, hardest thing to do in the bumper is to get one settled, get into the posse, and not get out of the ruck. Like, you know, you don't want to be in the ruck anyway. And that's not a simple thing to do because you've no experience of being around the track. It's a big ask. Look, Pat Mullen couldn't do it. Kevin Manning couldn't do it. Jamie Spencer done it.
Johnny Murtagh tried, didn't he?
Johnny Murtagh couldn't do it. You know, it's... I'd rather put Sam Union on him anyway.
I agree. I don't think it's an advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be a disadvantage.
No, I'm not saying
it might
it's a disadvantage.
Okay, well, look, we're down to our last
an
5 or so minutes, so let's rattle through as many as we can very quickly.
Davey, you're a Cheltenham legend rider. If you had one ride at the Cheltenham Festival, who would you ride?
I'd like to win a Gold Cup. I'd ride Django by.
The Arkle winner. Okay, 3 in a row back there. Here we go.
Sorry, suspense. Rich, we appreciate your honesty about Gaelic Warrior and generally every year of where Lossiemouth's going to run. But what I don't understand is you've had a 6-month national hunt season. You know broadly the field for the champion hurdle and the mare's hurdle, and you know the weather forecast for the next week. What could possibly change in this period of time in terms of where you run her?
Can I answer that for you, Rich?
Go on.
It was on the paper this morning. Barry Connell, he got a sore neck. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Gordon Elliott's filly may not run. The new line may not run. You know, there's so many variables. You can't be as hard on people. When you're there looking at them every day, it's tender hooks. Things change. She could give a cough. She could do a blistering piece of work and just blossom like fillies can do at this time of the year. Just absolutely turn inside out in a matter of days. It's not the thing with national hunt racing, it's not an exact science. There's loads of variables in between. And for someone to commit even 3 days away, you know, it's a big ask. It genuinely
And the other thing with Richie's, although he probably won't say it now, is he got obliterated a few years ago when he said Votor was going to run here and there. And then, you know, the thing is about the public, and it's the same on social media, you want to, on one hand, you want to get told where the horse is going to run. Then when the connections change the man, you absolutely kill them, so they never want to tell you again. You can't have it all ways.
And it's not Richie's fault that the options are there. They shouldn't be there, really. Like Richie's fault. So, like, I agree.
He wants the mares, to be fair.
There should be a championship mares race, but it shouldn't be at Cheltenham, in my opinion.
We're going to take 2 more questions, 2 more, and then we are done and dusted. 2 more tonight.
There's one from Matt. Yeah. So, Davey, obviously, legend at Cheltenham and Jigginstown and everything else. I've been one with Tiger Roll, the legend. So, for the cross-country chase, the Jigginstown now have a good chance in Favre du Commandou. How do you think he's going to come up against Stumptown in the cross-country?
Oh, he's a hell of a good horse. He's after turning inside out. He was heading towards, no man's land until he put his best foot forward, and he won a Paddy Power, and it's a handicap this year. It's not one for really getting stuck into. There's plenty of horses in there that look attractive off their weight, Very hard on a horse with recent success that has gone up dramatically in a handicap. It's just a pity that they didn't see this coming before he started winning and keep him for a cross-country race,
Okay, and final question of the night goes to this man.
Hi, so obviously it was fantastic to see Constitution Hill back the other day. But I suppose my question to all four of you, do you think they've made the right decision by getting him off jumps over the flat?
This is the final question. This is how we're going. This is how we're going to end the evening.
Okay, it's a yes. It's a yes or no answer. Rich, Constitution Hill.
What's the question?
Did they
Just
make the right
yes
decision?
or no? Have they made the right decision? No reason needed. Yes or no?
100% yes.
Lydia.
Yes.
Yes or no, Ben? It's
Just pass me by.
okay.
No.
And it will surprise you, but I think 100% yes. But sadly, for me, we haven't been told the real reason why it's yes, and the secrecy has caused the issue. But if the secrecy was not there, everyone in the world would say 100% yes. That's how I see it.
If only it hadn't been in a similar situation before.
Thank you, Lydia. Always likes to have the last word, and you managed to have it once again tonight. The sign of a good Cheltenham preview night is when... Sorry? Yeah, we're getting... Yeah, we're trying to get there. Yeah. The sign of a good Cheltenham preview night is when you get to the end and the crowd has kept relatively quiet. We're just going to finally go down the panel. You can give whatever horse, favourite, big price, one horse for Cheltenham. Rich Ritchie.
Loris Testerval, wherever he runs, each way.
Okay.
Big price.
The Supreme Commander, Lydia Hislop.
Meet me by the sea for the Jack Richards, no pressure.
The King George hero, Ben Pauling.
Diva Luna for the mares.
Oh, yes, I like her.
And the 25-time Cheltenham Festival winning hero that is Mr. Davy Russell.
Woodhull.
Okay. And I will go with Jubilee Alpha in the county hurdle, who is currently around 25 to 1. Right, that is it. Just before you clap,
I think she's got a really good shot.
thank you so much for our sponsors, the Tote. Remember the special offers, remember the boost, Lossy Mouth, etc. Take advantage of the free bets. But can we put our hands together? Mr. Rich Ritchie, Lydia Hislop, Ben Pauling, Davy Russell, yours truly. Get home safe. Thanks for coming.